team. Here with us is Byron York, Fox News contributor. Byron, you responded to Wiles' post on X, writing that, quote, in terms of its understanding of the press, this is perhaps one of the most naive statements ever made by an official at the highest levels of the government. Yeah, are you telling me, Byron, that Vanity Fair is not to be trusted? I mean, they've written a hit piece on me before, but, you know, it's like I was young and didn't know anything back then.
Listen, I'm sorry to break the news to you. We have seen, as you suggested, a lot of attempts to portray the White House as a place that's deeply divided, filled with conflict. But on the other hand, Vanity Fair was invited into the White House. The photographer went, the reporter went, the top officials in the White House, the Vice President, J.D. Vance, Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State, Susie Wiles, Stephen Miller, Carolyn Leavitt, they all there. They posed for pictures and all talked to Vanity Fair. And Susie Wiles talked to Vanity Fair 11 times over the course of a year. So she can complain that it's misleading and out of context, but what did she expect going into this?
Well, Vanity Fair is just one of the worst left-wing rags out there. So I don't really get that. Susie's really smart, so I'm not sure. It is a bit curious. But today, J.D. Vance bashed the Vanity Fair and defended Susie. Watch.
The interviews that White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles gave to Vanity Fair, in which she's quoted as referring to you as a conspiracy theorist of a decade.
Sometimes I am a conspiracy theorist, but I only believe in the conspiracy theories that are true. Susie Wiles, we have our disagreements. We agree on much more than we disagree, but I've never seen her be disloyal to the President of the United States, and that makes her the best White House Chief of Staff that I think the President could ask for.
Well, Byron, I mean, I've seen, you know, the inner workings of the White House, and I've seen a lot behind the scenes. I would agree with what J.D. Vance said. Susie Wiles is one of the most loyal, dedicated public servants. Still odd to talk to Vanity Fair, though. Like this little Marco Rubio knows better then, right? But maybe it was a command performance. Well, they all had to pose.
Donald Trump Jr. also joined in defending. As a matter of fact, the defense of Susie Wiles' campaign today was, I think, the most extensive executive branch-wide campaign I've ever seen relating to something of this. But in terms of this article, I want to read you one short paragraph from it to give you a sense of the attitude that Vanity Fair took into this. Donald Trump has refined the way presidents behave, verbally abusing women, minorities, and almost anyone who offends him. Charlie Kirk's assassination turbocharged Trump's campaign of revenge and retribution. Critics have compared this moment to a Reichstag fire, a modern version of Hitler's exploitation of the torching of Berlin's parliament. That's in the article. So, in other words, what in the world did the White House expect out of Vanity Fair?
Well, again, they've written so many hit pieces about conservatives over the years. I mean, and if you get a positive piece from Vanity Fair, it's usually not saying a lot about you, I would say, as a conservative. Am I accurate about that, Byron? Right? If you're getting a positive
you're absolutely
piece.
right. Well, of course, I'm sure there are some Trump-bashing Republicans and former Republicans who have gotten positive treatment from Vanity Fair, but not the Trump White House.
Well, we want Susie to come on the angle. We haven't had her on yet, but you know, I'd be a lot fairer than the Vanity Fair with Susie Wiles, I think, Byron, right? I mean, come on the angle, and then you can blast Vanity Fair. It's much more fun.
Well, just say if you had time for 11 interviews with Vanity Fair, some of them lasting a full hour, certainly you can come spend a little time on the Ingraham angle.
No, it would be fun. We'll have fun, too. And I actually like her, unlike Vanity Fair. They obviously don't like her. Byron, thank you very much. Great to see you, as always.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.